Good morning and welcome to worship at Bart Centenary United Methodist Church in Littlestown, Pennsylvania. I'm your pastor, Tammy Blos, and I'm so glad that you came today.
Our second reading today comes from Psalm 90, verses 1 through 12. Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever you had formed the earth and the world, from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. You turn us back to dust. You say, turn back, you mortals, for 1,000 years in your sight are like yesterday when it is past, or like a watch in the night. You sweep them away. They are like a dream, like the grass that is renewed in the morning. In the morning it flourishes and is renewed. In the evening it fades and withers, for we are consumed by your anger. By your wrath we are overwhelmed. You have set our iniquities before you, our secret sins in the light of your countenance. For all our days pass under your wrath. Our years come to an end like a sigh. The days of our life are 70 years or perhaps 80 if we are strong. Even then, their span is only toil and trouble. They are soon gone and we fly away. Who considers the power of your anger? Your wrath is as great as the fear that is due to you. So teach us to count our days, that we may gain a wise heart. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. In today's installment of the good news about death, we're talking about the gift of life on earth. Our physical existence is a limited time only kind of gift. As Christmas celebrations grow ever closer, our thoughts inevitably turn to shopping and baking and decorating and planning for those moments that we hope will manufacture good memories, memories that we can hold on to for years to come. And suddenly, our calendar seems to take over our lives. And though it's sure to be different this year than it was last year or the years before, there is something ominous about the countdown to Christmas. It seems that even before Thanksgiving arrives, we are inundated with holiday countdowns. They remind us of how very little time we have left to complete our merry-making tasks. And as stressful as it can be, somehow, knowing that we only have a certain amount of time creates within us a sense of urgency in what would otherwise be ordinary days. Some people, like my daughter-in-law, already have their entire house decorated. They have, as she does, a present wrapping center set up in some room in their house. For people like this is exhilarating. This time of year feeds their soul. For others, this is stress added on to the end of an already stressful year. Now, no matter where you find yourself, exhilarated by the excitement of it all, or stressed at the end of a stressful year, or maybe somewhere in the middle, the countdown continues. As I was pondering this Christmas countdown, I began to wonder what it would be like if somehow we knew how many days each of us had left in our lives. What if we could look up at our mirror in our bathroom and see that amount of days that we have left? Some of the recent data suggests that the average lifespan for an American citizen is about 78 years. 78.56 years, to be precise. Women still live longer than men, and obviously that is an average. Some of us will live well into our 90s. Some of us might even see those 100s. Others will not. But for our purposes today, let's just say that 78 years and some change are the amount of time we will get to walk on the earth. Our psalm today agrees with this assessment of time. So if that were the case, you would get 28,647 days to spend being alive. To spend however you wish. Now, little Charlie, who we just baptized, how many months old is he? 8 months. So he hasn't even hit his 365-day mark yet. But the days that he's had so far have been spent learning about his family, learning about the world around him, learning how to laugh and make cute little baby sounds and not so cute little baby sounds, and how to get what it is that he wants as a message across to his parents. He's done a pretty good job. Now, the question before us today is, how have you been spending your days? Have you been shopping, standing in line, waiting in traffic, wondering why this line is called the Express Line? Hopefully, you've been doing whatever it is that brings you a sense of fulfillment and joy for at least some of that time. But let's just imagine that one day we woke up and we could see how many days we had left. What if, like I said earlier, in the mirror in your bathroom, when you woke up and brushed your teeth each morning, you saw the number of days you had left to work with? Would this make you depressed? Or would it light a fire in your soul? If you knew the amount of days that you would be able to spend, would you spend them differently than you do now? Would the urgency that you feel about letting those whom you love know that you love them change? Who would you absolutely, positively make sure that you spent time talking to about Jesus? Are there 10 of them? 5? 3? Who would be on your list? The psalmist, as Miss Penny taught us in her message, was traditionally understood to be Moses. And the mood that he reflects is common to a significant part of the Old Testament. Much of what has been written in the Old Testament by this time and before this time reflects a theology that does not have a resurrection. And so it seems rather depressing at first glance when we read things about human life and the insignificant second that we hold in the cosmic timeline of the universe. But the deeper truth here is that we, who are like dust in the wind, are precious to God. Other psalmists will ask, what are people that you would be mindful of them, Lord? Or don't you have better things to do than love us? And clearly, God's answer is no, I don't. People are precious. And quite ironically, it is our own fragility that makes our life so very precious. We so easily forget that the gift of mortal life is limited time only. And that is what makes living so very precious. It is the urgency of our mortality, the ticking clock, that makes each moment matter. Death is what makes life precious, because it reminds us that we can take no day for granted. Now, there are some days that I will never forget. The day I married this sweet man. Why are they laughing? The day I birthed each of my 5 children. The day my youngest brother was born. Days full of beautiful memories. Days full of promise of what was yet to come. I'll bet that you have days like that in your memory. Days that you will never forget. And then I bet there are other days that you'll never forget. I'll never forget the day my 17-year-old brother died in a tragic car accident. I'll never forget that day in September 19 years ago when almost 3,000 vibrant lives were snuffed out in moments because of someone's hate. I'll bet you have days like those in your memory banks too. And folks, those 3,000 people did not expect to die that day in September. And friends, if you and I make the mistake of living as if we will never die, we will waste our life away. We worry about things that don't really matter. We fret over things that are outside of our control, and we are consumed by things that have absolutely no eternal significance on our lives. Even so, though we do not have that counter on our bathroom mirror to give us the exact number of days, what we do have is the ability to remember that our place in this universe is not a status that we've earned, but it's a gift that was graciously given to each of us by our Creator. Friends, let's turn to God, as the psalmist did, and ask God, teach us to count our days, that we might gain a wise heart. Help us, Lord, to better recognize the sacred weight of every second, and guide us in being a people who will not waste any of them. And all God's people said, Amen.